Today is the day we're going to start getting some of our equipment ready for this fall. We're supposed to have a week here of weather well over 100 degrees. So our crop's going to be maturing much faster than it has in previous years. So we actually might be out there earlier. So we're going to be bringing the equipment into the air-conditioned shop, start working on it. First things first, we're going to start here with the combine. First thing we got to do is change the oil and the oil filter. So we got that running right now. Ooh, I didn't spill a lick. I got the filters on there. Dad's writing down the number of hours. Now I'm gonna look on our reference sheet here to see what other filters we got to change and which ones we need to order yet. In total, my cart for John Deere for all the filters I need out there for the combine came up to just under 1,800 bucks. So I'll submit that order and then pick those up in the morning. So because I can't pick up those filters till tomorrow, the next plan is to take this thing out of the shop, hook it up and get our corn head in here. Because the corn head's only ever used once a year, it's naturally gonna get buried in the back of our shed back here. So we gotta pull out the 8285, the chisel plow, this miscellaneous trailer, our other trailer, move around a bunch of other things in here to see if we can get that thing out of here.
Like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want you to know. Secrets start in your heart so slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy.
This here that I just hooked up to is our chisel plow, so we'll use this for tillage behind all the beans that we'll harvest here this fall.
It's getting hard to talk.
Here comes Dad with the combine. If I remember right, we unhooked this at the end of October. We weren't sure if we had it unfolded or folded, since this is a folding head when we brought it through the doors. So we got to figure that out too. But let's see if the first things first, if we can get this thing hooked up and just barely squeeze it outside of the shed.
The only one who speaks, it's all the things.
It's crazy to me to think that when my grandpa built this shed back in the 80s, we had a 6-year-old corn head that didn't chop stalks, and now we just took out our 12-row chopping and folding corn head out of this very same shed in just a span of 40 years. How things can change so quick. Now that the corn head's out, and that's gonna stay in the shop for a while we work on it, it's time to put everything else back away in the shed.
Never show. There are the things I want to know.
Man, not normally am I ready for fall, but I am ready to give my back a little bit of a break and to sit on a seat for 10 plus hours a day.
In your heart so slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go.
There we go. We got the corn head out and got everything put back away into a different, but yet still organized mess that we'll have to keep moving things around till we're ready for harvest. It's the next day now. Here's what $1,800 in filters looks like. So I'm gonna start taking these out of the boxes and start putting them onto the combine. To keep track of when we change all of our filters, whether it be air filter, hydraulic filter, or any filter on any piece of equipment, we always write down the date that we change it, in addition to the number of hours that are on the machine. So here I wrote today's date and the 562 hours that are on the combine, and I'll do the same thing for this other air filter that goes inside the cab of the combine. Ugh, this never got blown out after last fall. This thing never got blown out. It's really dirty, but I'm gonna throw it away anyway. But just comparison to the new one, oh man, this thing stinks. There you go. Here's another air filter that I gotta change. There's always so much dust at harvest that these ones are almost a must to change every year. So this one's for the inside the cab. I'll take that out. Sauce in a new one. The other thing I'm going to do inside the cab is I'm going to take this plastic that's been on the seat for over 3 years and take that off. I have to whisper because his dad knows it's me. He wouldn't be very happy. So we're going to take this off because it's not looking very good. And it's already ripped anyway, so just going to take that off. And hopefully he doesn't find out it was me. This filter here I'm taking off is for the Pro Drive of the combine. So that basically gives this combine another gear when you're switching between high and low range. I got all the filters replaced and changed on the combine, wrote everything down in my book for all the filters that I replaced on the 400-hour service interval. Now we're gonna try installing this thing Dad bought from John Deere that's supposed to ground the corn head. Last year he had some problems with the corn head, having too much static electricity. So we're gonna try to put this thing on there, and that way the head will be grounded for this fall. Ouch, stop, lower, it needs to go lower. Oh, I got it, just let go. The instructions for this project are not very detailed, so we got the bracket on, but I'm gonna guess the rest of the project, hanging this arm, this wheel, it's gonna take a while. There it is. After putting it on backwards, then finally getting it on the right way, that is the correct way it's supposed to be installed per the instruction manual. But the thought is this blade will run on the ground, and that'll ground the electrostatic electricity coming off the corn head. So we'll give that a try this fall and see if it actually works like they claim. Well, that should be it for everything we got to check and service on the combine. So now we brought in our 6150R. It's still got the sickle mower on it, but we'll use this fall to maybe pull a wagon, and we'll use the loader just for some miscellaneous cleanup and other odd jobs during harvest. All we're doing today to get this thing ready for fall is Dad's dropping the oil in it right now, put a new oil cartridge and put some fresh oil in there. And then I looked in the book and I just have to grease these front axles, and this thing should be pretty much ready to go once we get the mower taken off for this fall. The 6150R should be ready to go now for the fall. We got the oil changed in the filter. I checked the tires, greased the loader. Just got to take the sickle mower off, but we got one more mowing that we got to do with it yet. So we're going to back it out of the shop and into the machine shed.
Turning all the wrongs into rights. Here we go. You can take me there tonight.
I'm now taking our 8R out of the shed. This thing has just under 400 hours on it. Ooh, I almost hit the rack there. So I'm gonna change the fuel filters on this thing because we're going to be using it to run the grain cart again this fall. That's it for everything we need to get ready for the mechanical side of this tractor that's going to be pulling our grain cart for this fall. I just grabbed our grain cart display, which is going to read out the weigh scale on the inside of the tractor. So I'm going to get this installed inside there. That way the person reading it will know how many pounds they have on the grain cart they're pulling. I'm pretty sure I left the power cord after last fall down here in the toolbox for the grain cart display, but now's a good chance to show you guys a grain cart. It's a Brent V1100, a 20-inch auger flighting, can unload roughly 500 bushels per minute. Another thing I changed on here last year is I added another readout for the scale on the side so the person running the combine can know how many bushels they have on it. That way we don't overload semis. So that's the grain cart we got. We'll be using this fall. Let's give her a try here and see if the scale's gonna light up and work. Obviously don't have it hooked up to the grain cart, but it should still populate some information here. There we go. Since these John Deere GPS receivers are roughly $3,000 to $4,000, I'm gonna rob that off of the planter. Obviously we won't be using this fall. The only downfall is I'll have to do another TCM calibration on this one to calibrate the globe to the tractor. So by putting another GPS globe on this tractor, what I'm able to do is this GPS receiver on the combine will talk to the GPS receiver here on the tractor, and it'll create a distance that I plug in for this axle to run next to the unloading auger. That way this tractor will steer itself and the person in the combine will be able to control the speed of the grain cart. To make this machine sync work, the software version inside the tractor needs to be the same in the combine. So now, since we have internet in our shop, I'm gonna quick hop on here onto the display and update the receiver and the display. That way they match the combine, and it should work flawlessly this fall then. So now we're gonna do our TCM calibration. Here comes Dad with the 2x4. We're gonna mark that through the back axle of the tractor since we changed this GPS receiver from the planter. So we'll go ahead and it'll start calibrating, then we'll go ahead and turn around and mark the same line. Now we're in the exact same spot, so we'll snap the line. It'll calibrate the globe, and this 8R will be ready to go. Successful. Everything should be ready to go for this fall for this tractor. Now that we're done getting the tractors ready for this fall, we're moving on to the old wagons. These are both 650 Demco wagons, so each of them are supposed to hold roughly 650 bushel. Just gonna have to grease the bearings and check the tire pressure, and these boys will be ready to go for this fall. That's it for all the equipment we can get ready at the moment. We'll hook up the grain cart just a few days prior to harvest, just because we don't like hooking that up and unhooking it, just because we don't have room in the sheds. And then we got a new bean head coming this year, so that should be here in just a couple days, and we'll run through that, put that on the combine, and do a bunch of calibrations just so we know that's ready. We try to do as much preventative maintenance on our equipment as possible prior to harvest, but life happens, things will break, so we just got to tackle those challenges as they come. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much everyone for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.